right. Oh, we're on the wrong screen. There we go. What is up, everybody? How we doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Time to party. What's up, Trail Tech? Good to see you. We have another 5090 build. This is the second of two for Mr. Spartacus Live. This one is going to look a lot like the last one. The only real difference is we have a different model 5090, same sort of thing. We've got the Crosshair Hero motherboard instead of the ProArt, and then we've got a 9800X 3D instead of the 9950X. So this is going to be a dedicated gaming PC, and then he will have the other PC that we built last week as his streaming PC. So let's talk about the build a little bit. Like I said, this is a crazy build. It's overkill, but it's pretty much the best of the best. We've got the 9800X 3D, best gaming CPU you can get. We've got 3 terabytes of storage. We've got the Patriot Viper 48 gigabyte kit. This is actually a CL28 6000, so super low latency RAM there. Got the X870E Crosshair Hero, 5090 from ASUS TUF. Got the Arctic Liquid Freezer again, and then another 1600 watt power supply. And then this is going in the exact same case. We got the Fractal North XL. Wish someone would ask me to build it with a 5090 for them. Dude, these things are nuts, man. This is like a $2,900 CPU or GPU, because you just can't. There are like cheaper models out there, but like you just can't find them right now. Like they're not available. It's crazy. Is this for me? Unless you sent me like a $6,000 check, and then no, it's not for you. Sorry. Sorry, Warfliper. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Tuesday. Almost forgot what day it was. No drinking on the job, don't worry. It's just one of those nasty Dr. Pepper blackberries that I need to finish up. I ordered some cream soda ones, but I need to finish drinking these ones before I can switch. Doing good, good to hear that. All right, let's get our motherboard out here. Oh, baby. She's a hefty gal. She's a hefty gal. Got the Thirsty Thursday stream later. Who, me? Yeah, it's a crazy build, that's for sure. Would you like many viewers? No, go away. How does the AI mod not catch that? That's what I want to know. How does the AI mod not catch dumb stuff like that? Ban. Goodbye. Packages don't have to go that hard. Bro, packaging has to go that hard. You don't even know. What up, Barbie? Welcome in. It is very special. This is their highest end model, I think, that they have out right now. Sometimes they have like the Maximus or like the Extreme. Like I have the X670E Extreme in my system, but if they don't have that model out, then this is the top notch. This is the top of the line. And on them, this is a gaming computer. This is like top of the line everything. So we got a 9800X 3D. We've got an RTX 5090, 3 terabytes of storage. We got a 48 gig kit of RAM. We even have a RAM cooler. Yeah, we've got it all. I owe you monies. Oh yeah, I think you owe me for the engraving still, but I haven't gotten the case in yet, so it's fine. But yeah, you should definitely send that to me at some point. Wow, TikTok! I didn't say anything. I swear, I think TikTok just punishes me because I'm not using Live Studio. I guess I need to just start using Live Studio because I get a hit every single time. I have not said a single thing about other sites, other platforms, nothing, and they still hit me with their freaking auto mod BS. It is not a giveaway. No. This thing is way too expensive to be a giveaway, that's for sure. What up, Mr. Rainbow? Welcome in. What is that? It's a PC. We're building a PC. I mean, this is a motherboard. You made a reminder for tomorrow morning to add your card. Dope. Trail Text gifting a sub. Thank you so much. All right, so we got our 9800X 3D in there. Let's get our 1 terabyte SSD in here. You want a 5090? Gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. No. No. Cannot have. No 5090 for you. Where's my little... I guess I'll use this one. It's fine. All right, 1 terabyte going in. This is going to be our OS drive. This is what Windows is going to be on. All right. Gotta do laundry, meow. You faster you're going right, meow? All right, and then we'll probably throw our second SSD in one of these guys down below. 14700K and 3070 Ti. I mean, that's not a bad system. It's not a bad system. I mean, yeah, I mean your CPU is definitely newer than your GPU. Oh, is this all one piece? I guess it is, huh? All right, so usually this one shares bandwidth with the GPU. So we're gonna run the secondary one in, we'll use slot 3, doesn't matter, but. Is this from Micro Center? No. Micro Center doesn't exist in Idaho. The nearest Micro Center to me is like a 12-hour drive, so I don't really buy anything from Micro Center. Yeah, 5080 would be a great next upgrade. I'm not gonna follow you. And guess what? I'm just gonna delete your, I'm just gonna ban you and then you won't be able to do anything. Surprise! Can't threaten me. So with a PC like this, the motherboard can run certain games. I mean, the motherboard can run anything. You mean the motherboard by itself? I mean, the motherboard is basically just the nervous system for your PC. The motherboard is what gets power to certain, like most of the components. It provides a bridge between, you know, CPU and RAM and CPU and GPU, all that. The motherboard doesn't really, you know, it can't game all by itself. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how this started, was I built my own gaming PC, and I was like, that was really fun. I think I want to do this as a business. And so that's why I started my business a few years ago. But building computers is fun. What up, Goofy? Is there a staff member that helps you pick out parts? No. The company is me, myself, and I. This is the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver. About to go to the gym. Have a good time, man. All right, let's get some RAM in here. Hopefully this RAM works. The last RAM kit we used was like not stable, so I had to send it back. It was stable if we didn't enable Expo settings, but yeah, that's kind of a no-go there. Is the 5070 Ti 7800X 3D a good combo? Yes, it's a great combo. That's down to the CPU, not the motherboard. The CPU needs to have integrated graphics in order to run games without a GPU. Motherboard doesn't render that stuff. Oops. Let me just knock my knife onto the floor. That's smart. Finally build your PC, let's go. Yeah, but I mean, even the best CPUs, their integrated graphics are not good enough to play like high-end games, you know? You have this cooler? It's a really good cooler. Not gonna lie. My kit gifting is turned off. It shouldn't be. It might just be messed up. Maybe if you try like restarting the app or the browser or whatever. I know I didn't turn it off. Picked up a ROG Strix B850 for 180. Yeah, that's not bad. B850 is solid. What up, Dirt Diggler? How we doing? Nate Dog, welcome in. Yeah, I'm in Idaho. What would you suggest pairing with a 9070 XT? I'm thinking 7500F, 7700X. So if you're really trying to save money, the 7500F is a good option. If you want, like the 7600 and the 9600X are pretty similar in price, so I would just go with the 9600X between those two. The 7500F, if you get it on AliExpress, you can get it for like 140, 150 bucks. The 9600X is going to cost you just shy of 200 bucks. So you're not saving a ton of money, but save a little bit. Another friend of mine had the same issue. He had to check something in settings. Interesting. I'm going to build my second gaming PC when I get all the parts and upload it on YouTube. Nice. Seen that a lot of PCs have fans on the bottom. I was wondering what that's for. That is for direct cooling to your GPU typically. So you get fresh air right to your GPU intake. Sometimes eBay can, yeah, if you're willing to like spend the time to troll eBay, I mean, not like troll, but like, you know, scroll through eBay a lot, then yeah, you can get some good stuff. Because people are just trying to get rid of stuff, you know. Upgrading, currently running a 4060 and 5600X and want a decent upgrade. Yeah, that would be a really good upgrade for sure. I've refreshed and even looked on my phone. Still no options for gifting. Let me go check real quick. Just pause for a second, chat. We're gonna see. I already got a thing on TikTok, so I'm not gonna get anything sent to me. Slow mode, followers only chat, AI moderation, set goals, settings, profile. Nothing there. Security, nothing there. Notifications, nothing there. Channel. Community. I've got that. That's fine. That's fine. Drops and rewards. No. Revenue tab. Payment not activated. Complete Stripe setup. Oh, interesting. They disconnected my Stripe account somehow. Hold on. Give me like 3 seconds, chat. And by 3 seconds, I mean like probably a minute. User not found. All right, well, I'm gonna have to set that up a different time. Apparently I can't receive anything on Kick. You can go to YouTube though, if you wanna drop something there, my bad. Yeah, something happened. I think it's because I was having issues with my old Stripe account for my business. And they might have locked it all down. What up, Andy? Bought 3 sets of DDR5 from eBay. Not a fan of used RAM, but it's tough out there right now. Yeah. I mean, if you're not like selling it to anybody, you know, it doesn't really matter. As long as it works and you can test it. All right. That is everything going into our motherboard. Man, that thing is a beast. Let's get our case up here. Ugh. This freaking monstrosity. Oops. Okay, get that guy out there. Get the back off. What's my favorite 5070 Ti? I don't really have a favorite. I mean, I would shy away from Zotac personally because I've had issues with their GPUs. But besides that, I don't really have a favorite. I would not spend extra just to get the like overclocked version of a GPU because they don't really make hardly any difference. So I would just get one that, you know, maybe get one that has 3 fans and that isn't super expensive. There we go. Because the overclocked models I've seen don't really do much. Pampa, thank you for the follow. Hoping to build a gaming PC soon since it's generally built for gaming. Does that mean it will run browsers? Yeah, oh yeah, it can do everything. The gaming portion is more about having a GPU so that you can render games. All right. I'm going to take this out so I can get my box out of there. Or get this cable thing out of here. And then actually what we found is this rear hard drive cage gets in the way of the power supply. So we're gonna pull this guy out right now. With our giant 1600 watt power supply, it sticks out really far, so we don't want this in there. It's gonna get in the way. All right, got all that stuff off. Let's get our motherboard in here. It's gonna look tiny. All right, there we go. Focus is better now. Yeah, same case. This is almost an identical build. Just a couple of slight changes. You have a 1400K and a 1650. What are you doing, dude? It's a terrible combo. I mean, you clearly knew that, but get a better GPU, man. Got the RAM kit before Ramageddon. That's good. What SSD should you get for PCI Gen 3? Like a Crucial P2 or something like that. P3 Plus. I think P3 Plus is even Gen 4. You can put a Gen 4 into a Gen 3 M.2 slot. It just won't run at Gen 4 speeds. To 2 fan won't really overheat a ton, but the 3 fan will have better cooling, so it makes more sense to just get the 3 fan if you can. Especially since with the 5780 Ti, it usually doesn't cost any more, really. One of my friends said that the CPU is quite fragile when trying to transport it already inside the case. CPU, no. GPU, yes. GPU, if you're transporting it inside of a case, like if you're shipping it somewhere, you definitely need to take extra precautions to keep the GPU from breaking in transit. Should I get a 9070 or save for a 57 Ti? Oh, such a tough question. I don't really know how to answer that. The 9070 is really, really solid. I don't think you would have any complaints with it. So personally, if that's the only thing holding you back, I would just get a 9070. Can you recommend anyone for optimizations? Yeah, Trap had some issues with some people and got caught up in some scammy behavior. The only other people that I would consider recommending is FPS Hub. So if you look at Kip's FPS or Merc from FPS Hub, those are the only people I would be willing to recommend. GPU, he said that water-cooled GPU is less fragile than air-cooled. Yeah, because it's going to be lighter, but either way, you need to take the same precautions. Either way, like you need to have, like I use expandable foam inside the case when I ship, if the GPU is installed. I think I got this one all the way already, but. Yep, okay. All right, so that's all in there. Let's swap over to that. Yeah, you can ask anything PC related. I may not have an answer for you, but I will do my best. Is your gaming PCs only for US? For stuff directly off the website, yes. You can ask for a custom build if you live outside the US, so that I can, I have to assess, what the cost would be for extra shipping and taxes and all that sort of stuff. Because if I ship it outside the US, there's import taxes, shipping cost is more, all that good stuff. Get it through customs, all that. If you have the GPU in the case, you shouldn't. Picking it up is fine. More about like if you're transporting it a significant distance, like if you're shipping it somewhere. If you're just like throwing it in your car and driving across town, you can just lay it on its side so that like this wall here is like on its back, so the GPU is kind of sticking up, and then it should be fine. But if you're like transporting it a long ways, then that's different. If you're just picking it up, it's fine. It's more about the a big drop or tons of vibration that'll get you into trouble. All right, got our HD audio in there. USB 3 is going to go right here. Okay. 9800X3D is worth the price. I mean, the 7800X3D is like $100 cheaper right now. I think the 7800X3D is still a great option to choose right now. Please like the video. That would be awesome. Yeah, I would say like at that price point, like the 7800X3D is still a really good option for pretty much anyone. Is that another USB-C port? It's kind of hard to tell. I feel like it is, but let's check. Okay, I feel like it's not. Is this gonna go in that way? Nope, it's gonna go in this way. Okay. Oh, there is an additional USB-C down here, though. That's kind of cool. And an additional USB 3 down there. That is really cool. All right. Let's get our front panel connection in there. I think we can go through this guy. Okay. What do you think about this deal? I'm having the same problem in my head. I know I don't need the 9800, but man, I want it. What do you think about this deal? I got a 1400K, 32 gigs, 7200 hertz. Ah, it's moving too fast. I forgot to bring my mouse back. Hold on. Hold on. Comment disappeared on me. Hold on, hold on, hold on. AORS Z790 Master, 1 terabyte. That's a great deal. For all of that, that's awesome. Looking clean, thank you. Having the same problem, don't know what to do with the 9800, yeah. 3080 is the bottleneck, to be honest. That's fair. What computer component do I get if I start liking your videos? You can have a fan bolt. How about that? I mean, personally, these days, I wouldn't buy less than 32 gigs if you could, like, if you're getting DDR5. Stuck with a GTX 1650, hey, it's okay. Certain RAM better than others, even though they have the same amount. Yes, you need to look at the speed and latency of the RAM. And there are some brands that are not very good, but yeah, it's a whole box of worms there. Spent 2K without the GPU. Hey, that's a solid build then. Like, I know when I'm gaming on my gaming PC, I use 17 gigs of RAM just playing Call of Duty with like nothing else running on my system. Upgrades to the 9800X3D and the 5080? Hell yeah. So if you only have 16, you could be limiting your GPU or your PC. Waiting for the 5080 Astral. Dang. Personally, I wouldn't spend the money on the Astral, but that's okay. Motherboard for Intel i7. If you're talking like a 14th, like 12 to 14th gen, MSI Mag is always like one of my go-tos. Like get the Z790 or the B760. Bees, thank you for the subscription. In your old PC, you have an i7 4770. Wow, that's getting old. G-Skill CL26 6000 is super. That would be super solid. You had an 8600K with a 3080. Yeah, the 3080 is not your bottleneck in that system. Yo, what up, Southern Metal? How you doing, dude? 7800X3D, B850, 5070 Ti. That's a great option, dude. That's a solid start to the build list. Get 32 gigs of RAM, you know, with good latency and speeds. You'll be set. Just now went to your website. Those hats are clean, and dude, the hats are nice. The mouse pads are nice. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, there's just not a lot of CL26 6000 stuff out there. And it tends to be significantly more expensive. I mean, it's all expensive right now, so whatever. If I'm running games with mods, do I need 32 gigs of RAM? I don't know if mods take up more RAM. Yo, what up, Tech? Oh, shoot. Gareth? Is that right? Gareth? feel like I'm really close. What happened to the keypad clickers? I ran out of them. Those were ones I just custom ordered. Oh, look at me remembering names. Are ASRock boards safe to use for X3D chips? I don't know. I've tried to kind of keep up with that, but I haven't really seen a lot of stuff in the news about whether their stuff is solid yet. So personally, I would just shy away from it for now. 230 before RAM prices. Oh yeah, see for 32 gigs, that's insane money for 32 gigs before RAM prices went insane. Since the AMD is the only one discounted price, do you think I should buy it and hold it until January, or should I save up and buy everything all at once when I have the money? If it's on discount right now, I would buy it. Bees, thank you for the follow on Twitch as well. CL34, DDR5 7200, CL38 8000. I don't think there's any difference in terms of first word latency on those two kits. So I don't. If you're running Intel, the faster speed is technically better, but I don't think it'll make much of a difference. Yeah, I wouldn't risk it with ASRock on an X3D chip right now. They're great. Honestly, ASRock has made really good stuff for a long time. But if you're running an X3D chip right now, it's just, personally, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it right now. I will use ASRock as long as it's not an X3D chip, but it's not worth the headache right now. All right. Okay. Spend some time talking. This stuff is all plugged in. Let's get our rear exhaust fan in there, and then we'll keep moving. Get these bolts out of this box. This is good RAM. Kingston Fury. 5600 is kind of slow for DDR5. I would shoot for 6000 with like a CL30. 6000 is probably what I would shoot for personally. MSI, Asus, or Gigabyte board, what is the best? Personally, I like MSI the best. Asus would be a second. Gigabyte, I don't like. New on PC here because I used to game on laptop. What's the best way to have low latency? For gaming, I mean, the biggest thing is usually your Ethernet connection. So make sure you're on Ethernet and not Wi-Fi. That will help. Yeah, 6000 is the sweet spot for the 9800 X3D. CL32 6400 is also really solid. Or like this kit we got is CL28 6000, which is a real nice. Very nice. Okay, got that in there. Then we're gonna just plug this in to one of these guys because it's a little short. Okay, power cables. PowerPoint. If you guys are Office fans, you'll get that, but if not, it's fine. Price for CL28 was a little over 170. Not anymore. Yeah, the RAM kit, yeah, exactly. Like 64 gigs of RAM is like over $400 now. It's crazy. You basically stole that, right? Hey, you're welcome, Swift. Yeah, CL28 or 6000 is totally fine. 28 is like a real nice to have. 30 is still great. Mine's around 300 now, was 154 before. Yeah, everything has pretty much doubled in the last like month. It's crazy. If you can get any RAM at this point, it's a win. No, if you're gaming, you, like 32 is what I would say is minimum for newer systems. It used to be 16, but I think we're past 16 being the minimum for most systems these days, and for like AAA games. It's crazy to say that, but that's where we're at. All right, got a bunch of cables here. Oop. There's a CPU. There's a GPU. There's a CPU. Then we need our motherboard. And that's all we need. Don't need any of that. Okay. I think we'll learn our lesson from last time. We're gonna plug this stuff into the power supply first because we have to slide it in through the back. If you had to average it out, how long does it take you to build a PC along with software setup? Along with software setup, because I go above and beyond. I actually will install Windows. I install the drivers for the motherboard, for the GPU, all that, and test it all. If you put all of that time together, even though some of it I don't necessarily need to be like standing at the PC, it's probably about 4 hours. Okay, so this is gonna sit like this. So let's put our CPU here and here. You can get 48 gig kits from anywhere. Like the ones that we're using here are from Patriot Viper. It doesn't have to be from Corsair. Yeah, 48 is like a nice to have if you want a little something extra and not have to upgrade it anytime soon. Typical Swift with the follows. Thank you, Christy Telliega. Oh wait, hold on. A message up here that I missed. Hey man, I wanted to show my support and donate. I also wanted to say that I have 2 PC builds on my channel. I'm already addicted to it. Hey, I love to hear that, Caden. Thank you so much for the donation. It doesn't tell me how much it was, but thank you. I build and set up everything in about 2 hours. Well, you're also not streaming while you do it. That 4 hours includes like all the time while I just sit there and let it run and like stress test stuff. Installing all the motherboard drivers, which take some time. Installing all the Windows updates, which takes some time. There's no way you're doing all that in 2 hours. There's no way. Power supply stuff is in here. Hard to find CL2648 gig. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that, to be honest. G-Skill Trident, that's solid. Yeah, Hynix is what you want. You want to make sure you get a Hynix chip in your RAM if you can. The build I have, do you think 32 gigs is enough for streaming and intense gaming? I would get 48 gigs to be safe if you're gaming and streaming off of the one system. The build I have, oh, I already read that. Can you rate my PC? O11 Vision 9900X, 3090, 32 gigs, 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte, Arctic, 850 watt. I mean, that's really solid. The 3090 obviously is getting a little old. I personally would have gotten a bigger power supply for a 3090. The 30 series especially is notorious for power spikes, and it can kill your power supply. But besides that, I mean, it's a solid build. Change your CMOS battery now. I can't boot into your BIOS. That's weird. Yeah, and gaming at 1440, you're probably going to be using almost around 16 to 18 gigs of RAM just running the game. So I would say 48 is a good option. Fast boot won't matter. That's not part of booting to the BIOS. That's part of booting to Windows necessarily. But I mean, you could try disabling it, but it shouldn't make a difference to get into the BIOS, really. It's usually more of an issue getting into Windows with fast boot enabled. Actually, I guess it does do the checks before BIOS, so it could make a difference. But if fast boot was enabled stock on your motherboard, there's not really a way to change that because by clearing your CMOS, it's still going to be enabled. Okay. Let's tie that down. Yo, Southern Metal, thank you for the follow. Is a pre-built PC not worth it? I mean, it depends on who you buy it from. If you buy a pre-built for me, it's just as good as a custom build for me because I hand select the parts and everything, and I hand build it and I test it and everything. I use good components, so you can go to my website and buy a pre-built. What software would you use for the RGB fan colors? You can either use like the built-in one, so like if you have an MSI motherboard, you can use MSI Mystic Light, or if you don't want to use that, use Signal RGB. If you type in !Signal, you can actually get a discount for Signal RGB Pro, because I work with Signal RGB because they're incredible. You ever thought about mirroring your stream to YouTube Shorts? I am live both on YouTube vertical and horizontal. I agree, but I think I will go with 1440 panel. I must have missed something there. Copy the components on PC Part Picker and compare the prices. Pre-builts can be pretty good these days. Yeah. I mean, the problem is a lot of pre-built manufacturers use crappy parts. Like they use a really junky. They'll use a crappy power supply. They'll use crappy motherboards. A lot of them can get away with using like slow RAM, and they just won't tell you exactly what's in it, and there's no way to know. So, personally, if you're not buying from someone like me that you know will get you good parts, you got to be really careful. But that's why I'm here. And then you can watch it built live. All right. Motherboard power in. 250 for a 32 gig of RAM. I know, that's crazy. Go away, bots. What's my website? You can find it in the description. It's redneckengineer.com, just like you see it on the screen here. OLED 1440 is so nice. I just switched to a QD OLED, and I am in love. With a 5080, is it okay with 180 Hz 1440p, 32-inch, or is wasted? I would stick with 1440p, especially if you play first-person shooters or anything like that. Can 100% confirm that. Thank you, Southern Metal. And when they do use good parts, they way overcharge, 100%. The cooler for this is going to be an Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro. I know. Corsair pre-built screwed you hard, man. This one's going to be black. Black Arctic liquid freezer. Yeah, and they give you, some of them give you proprietary parts that you can't even like swap out, or like we know Corsair uses a proprietary BIOS that you can't actually update. Yeah. Under 70C while gaming, that's perfect, dude. Under 70C, you're solid. First word latency is a good thing to look for. I mean, I typically just look at the cast latency and speed. I mean, there will be some, yeah, built-in lighting, but they wanted this motherboard, so. Looking for a PC for gaming and multi-streaming games like Black Ops 7. Yeah, dude, I can totally do that. White build, no RGB. Love that. Okay. So, got all this in here. Let's do a wee bit of cable management, and then we'll get our CPU cooler going. Okay, this we'll deal with once we get our CPU cooler installed. This guy, we will do the same. We're gonna actually just kind of like tighten this guy up. Just like that. Okay, GPU power, we don't need to do anything with that yet. CPU cooler time. Let's get on it. Get on it, jump on it. Get this guy out of the box. Place your motherboard. Oh, you did? Nice. Love to hear that from Southern Metal. No, I cannot send you free RAM. It's way too expensive. RAM is way too expensive right now to be sending it off to people. Come on, plastic, get off of there. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this guy is gonna get mounted up there. Let's get our bolts out first. These guys. Can Fractal top the North? I think they cooked. Dude, I don't know, man. The Fractal North is just so good. I don't know how they're going to make anything better than this. I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with something. I mean, the Terra is super cool, too. Like, if you want, like, small form factor, the Terra is sick. Just putting all the washers on these bolts before we put it on to save myself a little bit of pain and headache. You can't be asking for free things. The Terra Jade, yes. Although I really like Corsair has their little, I can't remember what the name of it is now. They have their little ITX case that can support like a 360 AIO, and it looks like a little tiny tower. I think that thing is super cool. No, you can't have free stuff. Go away. I mean, you don't need to go away, but no, you can't have free stuff. If you don't see a big announcement thing saying giveaway, then we're probably not giving anything away. So if I were to take a CPU, I should opt for the 7500F for budget, 9600X if you want to spend a little more. Yeah, that's kind of, out of those options you gave, like that's what I would do. And if you're gonna get the 7500F, get it off like AliExpress, because you can get it for like 145 bucks. You'll just have to wait a little longer for it to show up. Yeah, I know, Noctua probably is so happy about it. Dude, I love I did a build last year with the Noctua 4080 GPU with a bunch of Noctua fans and stuff. That thing looks so good. We even did custom brown cables for it, like brown and gray cables. If you guys haven't seen that yet, you should go find it on my YouTube and watch the build. One thing that sucks about changing my motherboard is I got a Wi-Fi motherboard, old one wasn't. I lost USB ports because of that. Lame. You can always get like a PCI card if you want some extra USB slots. Thermaltake TR100 is cool, but it's MATX. Yeah. If I want something really small, like I want it to be small enough for just ITX. Dude, it was sick. It was absolutely sick. You guys should go check it out. You have to scroll through a bunch of old live streams, but if you find it, or I mean, you could just search Noctua probably, or I think I called it the ugly PC. But yeah, you should go check that out. That was a really fun build. Okay, got that up there. Get all of our extra fan bolts on there. Okay, got that top back on. All right, let's get this guy in here. Running off of powered USB hubs. Yeah, I don't like to use powered USB hubs. I mean, it depends on what you're using them for, but like you just have to remember that your data bandwidth is the same for a powered USB hub as it is for a single port. So you just got to be cognizant of that. Also, chat, I just learned today that they're trying to raise my rent here at my office, so we might be relocating back home. We might be relocating back home because they're trying to increase my rent by like 50% in here. So we're probably moving back to the homestead. Yeah, I would just try and like use things that like don't have a ton of like data pass through, and then you'll be okay. Like don't put your like, you know, Elgato camera on it or anything like that, and you'll be okay. And if you're not gaming on mouse and key, like you could put your mouse and keyboard on it if you want. As long as you don't notice like significant latency when you try and like click on stuff. All right, there's all of our stuff on there. Let's get the excess off a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. I was kind of already coming to the terms with the fact that I might have to move everything back home with losing my job at the end of the year, you know, in case I'm not able to get another remote position. So I was already kind of prepared to like maybe have to do that, and this was just kind of a sign like, well, I guess I have to do that. Okay. And I think we're gonna have the same problem on this motherboard that we did on the other one, where that guy clashes. Because ASUS, for some reason, in all their wisdom, put a giant freaking SSD cooler on there, so we'll have to do it this way. Oh, we should take this off too while we're here. So it's a bummer for sure, but you know, it's not the end of the world. I don't have to deal with screaming children outside all the time. Come on. So we did check after we built the last one like this too. The hotspot on AMD is actually kind of slightly lower, and this thing, the copper plate on this definitely covers the full bottom of the CPU. So temps wise, it's not a problem that we have to mount it upside down. And we've got some serious VRM heat sinks, so I don't think we have to worry about that either. Yeah, the Arctic mounting is kind of a pain. I mean, they make really good coolers, but this, yeah, their newer versions, the mounting. I mean, their mounting has always been kind of a pain, to be honest. I have one of their older models, and it's also kind of a pain. So, yeah, you learn to live with it, I guess. They just do such a good job that you kind of learn to live with it. Like if I wasn't, you know, if this wasn't super high-end system and wasn't, you know, a very expensive build, I would probably have suggested like a Thermalright cooler, because those things work really well and they're not that expensive. But yeah, you learn to live with it. Oh, what? I thought I had it right there. I thought I had that. Probably would have been better to put this on before I put that in, but didn't really want to deal with that cable flinging around. There we go. Okay, that is nice and in there. Okay. Let's get that kind of routed around all that junk. There we go. That's what we want. Pull that to the back. And that's going to get zip tied right there. I guess since we don't have any more fans coming in from the top, we can zip tie that now, just so it's in place. Come on. Okay. It's really nice. This build doesn't have like any like RGB besides whatever's built into like the motherboard. So the back is going to be super easy to take care of. Okay. GPU, slot out through there. This guy can now get installed. Maybe. Gonna need a little bit more. Doesn't quite fit behind that, does it? Just need like just a tiny bit more length there. Just need a tiny bit more length. I can pull, get a little bit more space down there. Space there. I don't want to crunch these cables at all. Oh, don't pull out of there. Sorry, I'm not meaning to ignore chat. We're just kind of doing this right now. Okay, got that in there. Now I think I've created enough space there. This guy should have plenty of room to slot up there. There we go. Okay, now that we got that, pull this side tight again. Okay, there's that. Let me get my clippers, clip up some of these zip ties. I'm sweating a little bit, chat. Got a little sweat going right now. Okay, so let's get our GPU power cable out there. CPU cooler's all plugged in. That's the, I wish I got the Corsair Titan 360 and it doesn't work as good as you thought it would have. That's a bummer. You have to mount it upside down because of this guy here. But we did the same thing with the 7950X, which pulls a lot more power. And we were peaking in the like low 70s under full load. So temperature wise, we're super solid. You should be good at 266 megahertz. That's not gonna happen. And besides, ASUS does DOCP, which is gonna be Expo. I wanna step into the Leonly Hydro Shift, but yeah, the Hydro Shift's so expensive. Because it doesn't fit. So this this cooler for this giant heatsink for the main SSD is too tall for the AIO if you flip it right side up. Yeah, it's not the RAM, but it'll hit this top SSD. It's depending on the motherboard. My favorite GPU. I mean, I loved the 7900 XTX. I had one for quite a while. All right, speaking of GPUs, it's GPU time. Okay, I think this is a 3-slot GPU. Let's get it out real quick and make sure. is heavy. Heavy. 27-inch 2K, 120 hertz Samsung. I want to go 32-inch. For a 6900 XT. I mean, maybe like 144 hertz. I think the standard these days is like 180 hertz for a non-OLED. That's probably what I would get. Deleted by moderator. I don't know what that said. I got the 9600X for 200 bucks, 7500F for 153. Yeah, go for it. Best GPU CPU combo is totally dependent on what your price range is. 1080 Ti is the GOAT. I mean, not anymore. I do love EVGA though, no doubt about that. But the 1080 Ti, it's not really the GOAT anymore. It was once upon a time. All right, this is a 2-slot card, so we only needed 2. Perfect. It has an anti-sag support here, yeah. One thing I do like ASUS TUF does is they give you an extra port. So most motherboards, or most GPUs give you 1 HDMI and 3 display ports. Like, it's pretty standard across the board. This ASUS TUF actually gives you a second HDMI. It's pretty nice. All right, I gotta get all this plastic out of here. Come on. Here we go. All right, that's all the plastic. Let's get this guy in here. I think that GPU power cable, I want to run out lower than that. So let's see if we can fit it through here. Pull this USB 3 out real quick. Run that through there. Now let's see if we still have space for that. Yeah, we do. Okay. All right. Massive GPU going in. Oh, too low. All right, there we go. 5090 installed. Okay, get all these guys back in there. Get our support in there in a second. Try to get this guy installed. Is 1600 watts a bit overkill? Yes, but it has more headroom. Looking at this case, this is the XL version. What motherboard suits the 7500F paired with the 9070 XT? I would get like a B850 board. The Eagle is like the lowest end model too. So I would go with like the Asus TUF B850 or the MSI Mag 850, B850. Eagle is their like cheapest model. Another CPU pack, that's why I want to know. Oh, nice. I mean, if it's in a pack and it's a really good price, then yeah, that's not bad. We're so close. Okay, the other thing we need to do, I probably should have done it earlier, but we're gonna do it now, is we actually got some RAM cooling. They were complaining with the last build of having some overheating problems with their RAM, so we're gonna go put this guy on here. This thing is nuts. And they actually don't want any RGB in their system, so we might actually just pull this RGB cable out of here. Oh, I guess that's just daisy chain and we just won't plug it in, that's fine. Okay, so there's that. And I think there should be... mounting for this, right? Oh no, it just installs right on top of the RAM. That's cool. I mean, I don't recommend getting the cheapest possible motherboard, typically. And the Eagle is Gigabyte's cheapest version for their newer stuff. So apparently this guy, you can literally just stick it on here. And it just hooks right onto the DIMM securements there. And just like that, freaking RAM cooling, look at that. All right, let's run that to the back. Get those cables out of the way. Isn't that slick? I thought there was gonna be mounting for it. You have to use like the motherboard bolts, but that's pretty slick. And what we can do with this guy is actually just run it right up and use our included hub here, just like that. And the RGB we're not going to use because he doesn't want RGB in the system. Just run that back up to there, just like that. That's tight. That's nice and tight. I think we'll use one zip tie there just to clean that up a little bit here. Just like that. Okay. Tighten up this GPU cable routing here. Like that. Okay. Can tie that guy up. up here for this guy. Come on. Bend up a little bit for me. There we go. Okay. There's all that. Oh, I think I meant for that to go lower. Oh, it can't really go lower because of that, can it? Okay. There. At least it's kind of captivated now. Okay. So, all we have left now, let's put this guy in, even though we don't really need it right now. Okay. And then we just want to install those front fans in the cage, and then we're good to go. For my gaming, should I get a Gen 4? You don't need a Gen 5 for gaming. I mean, it's nice to have, but you don't need it. You're not going to ever use that sort of speed. 32 is big for a monitor. That's true. I sure did. Sure did, Alicia. This is the Fractal North XL. Okay, please don't spam the chat. Thank you. Okay, so I want those, something like that. I might actually run these to the right this time too. It did help. It did help. For trading / day trading, watching stocks, no, I mean, that's not gonna really, if you're watching stocks, like you're using up your RAM cache, not your SSD at all, because it's all just in a browser. But I think for stuff like that, what's gonna matter more is your location than anything, in terms of how fast it updates from the stock exchange or whatever you're using to trade from. Yeah, that's a decent pair, suffices. I would definitely get the oh yeah, you did say 16 gigabyte. Yeah. I mean, that CPU can definitely handle a much more powerful GPU, but I think you'll still see a benefit for that GPU by having that really good CPU. One more bolt. How are you doing, Alicia? Okay, so these guys are gonna go in this way. I think what we'll do here is go like this. And we're gonna run them through here, like this. Actually, could run them down below, I think. Which would be a bummer if I made it too short because I angled them both towards the top, but we'll see. We'll see. Because I have a slot right above the GPU for a fan bolt. I think that's ideally kind of where I was thinking, but could also go through the bottom out to down there underneath the GPU. But I think because of my lack of forethought that it's not going to quite reach. Let's try and go to that top one first and see how it goes. If it doesn't fit, then we'll rotate the fans and we'll go to the bottom. So I kind of set these up with this top one in mind, to be honest. I think that's a lot more length. There we go. Nice and open for us. There we go. Now we got nice intake fans there for our GPU. Got our RAM cooler installed. This thing's done. This thing's done, folks. It's a crazy, crazy build. But we did it. So who's ready to see this bad boy get turned on? Right, Tech, this is the Fractal North XL. They have a smaller version too. They have the Fractal North, like non-XL, but this is the XL. So the non-XL and the XL both have this nice wood grain front with like brass accents on the buttons and on the feet. The North XL is a little bit longer. It's a little bit wider, so you can actually fit a 360 on top. I think the North can do a 280 and then a 360 on the front. This one can do a 420 up front, 360 on top. It also comes with this bracket to put these fans on the side there, so you can get some additional intakes. But yeah, this is an incredible case. This one is expensive. It's a $200 case, but I mean, it's pretty darn nice. So who's ready to see this bad boy get fired up? Who's ready? I want to see some emojis in the chat. Wonder if you could check my YouTube channel. I have 2 PC builds on there. You can send it to me in a DM and I'll see if I can check it out. Sucker for wood grain? Me too, man. Me too. Doesn't it look good, Trail Tech? Yeah, and there's a couple other companies. Like I know Montech has a couple of cases with wood accents. I think Okanos has some too. Like they're getting more popular, so you don't have to spend this much money on one. Touch of gold. Yeah, it's technically, I think it's more of a brass color, but it definitely looks kind of goldish too. I think it looks really solid. Rytech with all the emojis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Someone say get ready. Yeah, get ready to this thing turn on. Yeah, the motherboard has a display on it too. Got my kid in Okanos with wood. There you go, see? Why the chicken crossed the road? Because, my gosh. None come close to fractal. That's, yeah, you're not wrong. All right, first ever power on. We did have some problems. I figured it out with the other system. There's an issue with the sensor. So this GPU power cable on the power supply side actually has a sensor to measure the temperature. And that kept shutting off the system. I don't know if it's because there's a fan right here and it's like, this is way too cold. There's no way that's right. But yeah, I had to pull that sensor on the other system because it was causing problems. That's some airflow. That's some airflow, boys. Listen, can you guys hear that through the mic? Just enough to let you know it's running. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, if you guys see this thing turned off, it's because of the that stupid sensor, and we'll have to disconnect it on this one too, but it's fine. Are you able to see the GIFs coming through your YouTube feed? Am I getting GIFs on YouTube? I saw Caden sent me one, but I don't see it on Meld isn't showing me like the actual GIFs. I see GIFs, if that's what you meant. But yeah, I do see the GIFs. Oh no, are there GIFs too? Gifts, like monetary gifts? Oh shoot. Mr. K-Dog coming in with 100 joules and then another 100 and another 100 and another 100 and another 100. Bro, I didn't even see those. Apparently Mel doesn't have that integrated. Dude, thank you so much. Apparently that's not integrated on Meld yet. I might have to pull up the YouTube chats and just have them off to the side just in case. Yeah, I definitely would have said something if I had seen them. Dude, this thing is cruising. So here's how many fans we got. We got 3 in the front, 3 on top. We got 2 on the side, 1 on the back. There's 3 on the GPU, 2 for the RAM, and then there's a VRM fan here. And I can't remember if either the chipset or there might be a fan or something for the motherboard itself for the VRMs. This thing is not gonna overheat, that's for sure. That's for darn sure. Thank you, Rytech. I did not see that. Did you just send another one? Sent a happy poop for 10 joules. Thank you so much, K-Dog. Oh no, that's Donald. Donald Turner. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate that. Almost forgot this had water cooling with all those fans. I know, right? Just the CPU. Just the CPU. We got an AIO. Yeah, I don't know why those don't come through anywhere in Meld. I'll have to talk to Meld about that. But there we go, and it did post. It just doesn't have anything connected to it, so it's gonna be like, what do I do? But I've got the white and green light, which means that it would have posted if I had everything hooked up. Well, there we have it, folks. That is a completed build. As a reminder, this has a 9800X 3D, 48 gigs of CL28 6000 RAM, 5090, 3 terabytes of storage, 1600 watt power supply, and then we've got the ROG Crosshair Hero motherboard, and of course the Arctic Liquid 3 Freezer Pro, which has like a 50 millimeter radiator. This thing's massive. Sweet build, thank you. Now I gotta keep looking over there and make sure you guys aren't just dropping gifts where I can't see them. Like, well done like always, Mr. Red. Thank you, Mr. Rainbow. 48 gigs in this economy is a flex. Dude, this whole build is a flex. This thing, let me just, so, granted, my cost when I built my PC was higher than it needed to be, and my cost that I would say is just like what I paid for all the parts because I built it myself. But my full system was custom water cooled, like bent tubes, crazy like distribution plate / radiator pump combo, all of the things, as high end as it could get with all AMD hardware. This thing costs almost as much as my system cost a couple years ago, and it's not water cooled. That's just, if that gives you like an understanding of how expensive this system is, hopefully that will give you an idea. Because this thing is nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nutty. It only sounds loud right now because the fans haven't been tuned at all. But I don't think he's gonna care about the sound at all. 'Cause he's gonna have like a full studio and stuff. You're not gonna hear it. I think most of these fans are running at pretty close to full speed right now. All right, y'all. That's all we have for today. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We will have another build. It should be tomorrow. James Brown with a follow. Thank you, thank you. We will have another build, I think, tomorrow afternoon. We've got a nice 5070 Ti build, a little bit more budget friendly than this, that's for sure. So yeah, make sure you guys are following, subscribed, get your noties on, because this is gonna be another really nice build tomorrow. So stay tuned. We'll see you on the next one. Appreciate you all for hanging out and chatting and keeping the stream fun. We will see you later. All right. Goodbye. We came across it on Shorts. Love that. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You're welcome. Goodbye. Oh, hi, babe. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.